Constitution is not a permission slip. Hello, I'm Marvin McKenzie. One of the most common mistakes Americans make about the Constitution is believing it gives them permission to do whatever they feel is justified. A recent incident involving a church disruption gives us a clear, real-world example of how badly the Constitution is misunderstood today. In this case, an activist insisted he had a constitutional right to enter a church and confront its message. Now, that claim sounds confident, it sounds educated, but it reveals a deep misunderstanding of what the Constitution actually does. The reference to the Constitution arises because he invoked it. Once that happens, the claim's got to be answered on constitutional grounds. The Constitution is not a permission slip. It does not grant rights to citizens to act however they choose. It exists to restrain government power. That's the key point most people miss. When someone says, I have a constitutional right to do this, the first question should be simple. Well, which branch of the government is being restrained? If no government power is being limited, then the Constitution isn't being applied at all. Nothing in the Constitution turns a church into a public forum. Nothing authorizes political activism inside worship. Nothing grants outsiders a claim to the pulpit. The First Amendment was written to protect the free exercise of religion from government interference, not to invite interference under the banner of free speech. The Constitution keeps the state out of the church. It does not escort activists into it. What makes situations like this especially revealing is that the individual involved is clearly an educated man. Now, this isn't ignorance, it's instruction. Many Americans have been taught a version of civics where the Constitution exists to validate personal causes rather than to limit power. They've been trained to think the Constitution follows their feelings instead of restraining authority. That kind of education produces entitlement, not liberty. When the Constitution is misunderstood this way, it becomes a weapon rather than a shield. It's invoked to challenge preaching instead of to protect it. And once the pulpit must justify itself to activists, well, freedom of religion has already been inverted. Churches do not exist by permission of the state. The pulpit is not a public microphone, and worship is not a town hall. The Constitution was written to restrain Caesar, not to assist him. It protects the church from the state, not the state from the church. And if we lose that distinction, we won't need persecution to lose our liberty. We'll surrender to ourselves one misunderstanding at a time.